Hey, Mahlan from MemberStack here, and welcome to MemberScript 208. In this video, I'm going to show you how to display a certain number of members on a specific plan. So another way to show social proof on your pricing plans. Say you had 3 pricing plans, and if a user refreshes the site, they'll be able to see that, okay, 6 members have joined Basic, 1 member is on Premium, and Teams, there aren't any users. So essentially, if there aren't any users on a certain plan, that badge will be hidden. And depending on your specific use case, your numbers for the badges over here will be much higher than mine. Okay, let me show you how to set that up. So inside of Webflow, you are going to need to add MemberScript 208, and it should look like this. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link to that code should be in the description below. And if you're watching this on the MemberStack site, then you should have already seen the code. You can either add this site-wide on a specific page, ideally your pricing page, depending on your specific use case. Okay, so on the page itself, you are going to create a div, which is going to be your badge. And that badge is going to have a few attributes. You're going to have the plan ID attribute, which is going to be MS code plan count, and that's going to be set to your specific plan ID inside of MemberStack. Mine is basic, so this is set to basic. The next attribute is data MS template, and this is the message that's going to be on the badge. You can either leave it as join count members on name, which just basically means join number members on the plan name. You can erase on name like this, and then it'll just show join count members. All right. The next attribute is data MS format, which is equal to rounded, and that's just going to give a rounded number for your badge. And then data MS state, which is going to be set to empty, and that is to initialize every time there aren't any users on a specific plan, then the badge will be hidden. By default, these badges inside of MemberStack or inside of Webflow should be set to display none. Another thing you're going to have at the top of your pricing plans is a code embed. And that code embed is going to have your automation in order to make this work. You're going to set this up with make.com, and you are going to get a webhook URL that you're going to replace over here. The attribute for this endpoint is going to be data MS counts endpoint with your specific webhook URL. And that's going to be set to display none as well. So heading over to Make, in order to make this work, you're going to have an automation that looks something like this. Depending on how many plans you have, you'll have different HTTP request modules over here. And these will be to send a specific request over to MemberStack in order to receive plan data. So firstly, you're going to set up a custom webhook at the very top, and then you're going to have a webhook URL. You're going to copy that URL, and you're going to head over to Webflow in the code embed, and then replace that URL with your specific URL. Save and close. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is, depending on how many plans you have, I'll start off with the basic one over here. You're going to set your authentication to none, and then your URL to your admin API for MemberStack. We're going to call on members and plan IDs, and then your specific plan ID is what you're going to replace over here, as well as your specific MemberStack secret key over here. And then you are going to save that, and the response is just going to be the body from that previous request. Again, how many plans you have, you do the same for the different types of routes. So for this one was basic, then we'll have for premium, replace this key over here and replace this over here as well. And the last one is Teams. Again, replace the ID, replace your secret key over here. Okay, so in theory, how this would look like is if anyone lands on the page, just clear. If anyone lands on the page and the page is refreshed, that automation will trigger, and then it will show how many users are on that specific plan. All right. If you have any questions on all of this, feel free to reach out in the Slack 2.0 channel. Bye.